Hello again, everyone. It is May 14th, Mother's Day. This is video number 7 with the 617 Nasdaq contract. We are trading 3 contracts for 27 tick targets. We use our unique Renko bar set, which you get if you purchase the trading system. And we use the same settings each week. And you need to watch videos 1 through 6 to better understand what the system is doing. We will be showing trading for the week of May 7th through the 12th, this past week. In the prior week to this, the system recorded $3,000 in profit. Now we have our same number 7 Renko bar candle on the Nasdaq contract. And we'll get started. This is Sunday evening at 5:21 is where it is here. At the beginning, the white line represents 5 p.m. And we usually don't start our time clocks until right here about 17:15, which is 5:15 p.m. Central Time. On Sunday evenings, you often see a gap up or a gap down in price. So we let that work itself out, and then we start trading about 15 minutes. After that, we do start each day during the week at 15 minutes after, but the big effect is usually on Sunday. In order for, you could start at 5 o'clock most other days, but to run this recording, we have to keep everything the same and just run it the same way. And what the system is doing here is it has to move a certain distance before it will allow us to take a trade. You see we moved down here quite a bit from where it opened. But until we see the blue line, we're not going to take a trade. Okay, there's your blue line. So now we are able to take a trade.
Order pending.
Okay, it's a short trade.
Order filled.
Okay, it hits the target.
Order pending.
You can see up here, that's $400, $800. It hit full targets on all 3 contracts on both trades. So you're at $800. It's about noon time, that's Central Time. And it can trade all the way till 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. You can use 2 p.m., you can use 3 p.m. We've seen trades continue on till after 3 to 3:30. But 2 p.m. is good, 3 p.m. is good. It just depends. It's almost a coin toss. You see, it didn't trade any more that day, and that's the end of the day. So we do this process all over again. So you're up 800 the first day, but we have to pay attention to this week because something happens during the week that we want to talk about and explain. If you are watching your system, there are certain times when things can happen that will tell you, hey, you know, there's a lot of pressure on the system. You can pause the system. This works exceptionally well in basic normal markets. All other trading automated systems we have had throughout the years have struggled when a lot of pressure was on the market. This one is no exception. When there's a lot of pressure on the market, just give it time. Give it a little time to breathe, and it will pay off. And we'll show that on later in this video. And we're going to be running these videos continuous every week. We're going to put them on the website because this gives a long history of how this trade really works. And someone can go right to the videos and look and add up every week and see, what happened over a month or 2 months. We just think that's the best thing to do. We're not changing our settings. We feel like we've got good settings. Could they change in the past? Yes, you could do a run optimization on the system and be able to, adjust the settings maybe a little bit better. But these settings we've been running consistent for the last 7 weeks. Okay, here's your white line, which represents the beginning of the new day. It moved up considerably, so now we can trade. It's probably going to be a short trade when it happens, if it happens. You see, it's late in the day. It's not going to trade this day. So that's okay. That's okay. On the long one-way moves, that's the ones to be worried about, because what will happen is it'll come down here, turn you short, and then go back on up. So, and you do get stop outs. I mean, you just do. You can't avoid it. But usually a stop out results in a win right behind that. So you just have to allow it to run its course. We look at the news toward the end of the week, and sometimes you can see red flags where, hey, these are certain reports that you don't want to trade, but you can't always call it. But there are other things that can happen that can open your eyes to a lot of pressure on the market. And you can see that, and you can very easily intervene for the day or time period. Everyone knows the Nasdaq market lately has just been relentless in making new highs, going up, 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 heavily tech-driven, and that's fine. That's fine. But as long as it's normal market movement, then this system seems to deal real well with that. Okay, here about 3 or so, between about 3:30 in the morning here on the 10th. And you got the blue line. Now you can trade. So see, you move down a certain limit, and now it's still in a long trade.
Order pending.
And you got to stop and a reverse to the downside, and you can see
order filled.
You right behind it with a win.
Order
this
pending.
was an unusually
Order
larger
filled.
loss than normal, and then you got another win. So you see, when this happens, you have to allow the system to work. A lot of times around 9:30 Central Time, the market seems to reverse. We see it over and over and over. And there you go. Here's your win. So you actually are up for the day. Not that much, but you are up $165. You can see down here in the left corner. Tells you what's going on. And doesn't look like it's going to trade. Okay, it's not going to trade. So far for the week, we are up $965. And all this, you can see, this is normal market movement. What you're about to see is coming upon, we're Wednesday evening at 5 o'clock here. And if you look at the news service on Thursday, on this day, you see a lot of news, but nothing really, really bad to tell you, hey, no real red flags to me. But there is, a lot of news in Europe overnight, whatever. But that's just what's on the schedule ahead of time. You can look forward and see what news we're going to have a month from now. So it's interesting to see that and relate that to what's going on in the market. It's hard to pick, though, is it a good market or not? But there are some signs, and I'm going to give you a sign right here. On this Thursday, the market starts moving down. I'm going to slow this down a little bit because I want everyone to take notice of what's going on. Okay, the market is taking a big move down here. Now, this doesn't scare me at this level. Now, this is the Nasdaq. It doesn't scare me at this level. And just watching it, it's got to move a little bit more to cross certain parameters that you don't see here. That you don't see. If you purchase a system, you'll be able to put these parameters on the screen so you can see them. So we don't have the blue line yet, so we can't trade. But you see the market came back up. It retraced a little bit. And look what's going on now. Okay, now this gives you a better view of what's going on now. Now, down here, now it's really selling off here. The Dow is about 125 points down. The Nasdaq, I have CNBC in my office, so I watch the Nasdaq. And the Nasdaq down here, I think it goes a little bit lower, goes past minus 35, minus 40, it goes to minus 50. Now that's a big sell-off. That's a big long sell-off. You see it's still moving down. So at this point, it's telling me there's a lot of pressure on the market, and can our indicators or parameters or our system handle the first turn back up? The answer to that is probably not. So you'll be looking maybe at a stop out in the beginning. You see it even goes even further. So this is huge. This is a 50 point decline, not tick. It's a 50 point decline. And here it is at 9:19 in the morning before your first trade. So this is what needs to be mentioned here, is that if you get a 35 plus 40 point decline, 50 point decline for sure, anything over 40, before you take your first trade of the day. And it's not at 8:30 in the morning. You see, we're moving into 9:30. Is it at the bottom or near the bottom? Absolutely it is. Absolutely, it should be. Now, if you put pivot points, we have pivot points on the system, and we put those up there just to give us a guideline. and it's part of your training and learning if you purchase a system. But we're way beyond that. So it's at its bottom. The Dow has sold off. S&P is way down. It's almost down 27, 28 to 30 points. So all of a sudden, you have a lot of pressure on the market from the open of the night before on the way down. So here's what you do. It's just too much. You see this button up here, this little thing? You press that and you click it off. There's no reason to trade for this day. I'm going to show you why. There's no reason to trade. Now, everyone is not watching this. So, but most people do. We have servers. We watch this stuff. But, we're watching this when this is going on. So it's easy. All you do is click on this button and you say, okay, it's too much pressure on the market. Could you end up having a winning day? Absolutely. But it's obvious there's a lot of pressure on the market. And look, it's still going down. Still going down. Well, all your indicators come down with that. And then it's going to go back up. But is it just going to turn and go right back up? That's the key. When it's pushed down and accelerated downward or upward in a fashion where it's a big sell-off or new highs. I mean, that happens a lot with this Nasdaq lately. This is the reverse of it. You pause it. You don't need to trade. Most of the time, the system will keep you out of trading. But if you're down here and it makes a little attempt to move up, it can get you in the market. And if it gets you in the market down here and it's not ready to go yet, you could have a brutal 30 minutes of trading and mess your day up. So you've seen this. If you know it in advance, and the only way you learn this is you lose money on it. You lose money. So then you learn, okay, next time I know what to do. It's real simple. The tab is built in here. You just click it off. You say, you know what? There's too much pressure on the market. This is designed for a normal market, this system. So you skip the day. You skip the day. Now, what happens? Well, I'll tell you what happens. Right here, it would get in. And you see it can't go. Comes back down. It would reverse you right here. And it can't go. And it would reverse you right here. And it can't go. And you see this back and forth, back and forth. It's struggling to go. It's going to go. But you're going to have some you're going to give back you're going to give back this money you made during the week. So you have to be mindful of what's going. There's a lot of pressure on the market. You don't need to be the one to try to turn the market. The market needs to turn up itself. And will it turn up? Absolutely, it's going to turn up. But you're going to go from 9:30 to 10 o'clock of this sideways movement before it moves. I'm going to speed it back up a little bit. And this will happen real quick. And what's your signal? How do you stay out of it? It's very simple. It's not a big deal. You saw the movement. The writing was on the wall. If you didn't pay attention to it, and if you were gone and not paying attention to this, well, you have to suffer through this, some of this. This is what automation is. It's going to take the trade where it's supposed to. But that doesn't mean that it's going to move the market with this much pressure on it. So it's not a big deal. The tab is here. You click it off and say, hey, I'm over 40 points down, 35 points down. The market's a big sell-off. The Dow's over 100 points down. We always said in any other system that we've ever had that if your Dow is down 100 points, don't trade. Now, we normally traded gold and crude oil because they would be the same way. It's not that much difference. The Nasdaq seems to be better at handling most things, but you don't get stopped out for the day here, but you lose money. And if you get this system and you download this replay on this day, you're going to see it. You're going to see it. You're going to see it happen. So you get in the market, it don't go. It reverses back, and then it reverses back again. Now you get in long, and then it goes. It's going to go up. So you're going to win. Well, but you're going to be down for the day. This is the kind of day that you can lose $1,000 on. If you don't pay attention to a market with a lot of pressure on it. How often does this happen? Not very often. And it's not about you start trading and then the market moves after you start trading. It is before you start trading. So before you take your first trade, if the market is and the Dow is down over 100 points, Nasdaq's down over 35, the best thing for you to do is just skip the day. Just skip the day. It's easy to do. Just skip the day because it's triggered an unpredictable market. It's a sell-off and you don't know when it's going to turn. It may just come down here and be flat all day. Well, whether you lose $1,000 or you lose $300, you still lose when you don't have to. So we're going to keep going here. I'm going to put the screen back up. Now you see it came way back up. It came way back up. Yes, you would have been in this one and you won. Okay, you won one, but then it was the opposite of what it was. But you gave back a whole lot more. You gave back what you made during the week. And I think if you allowed it to trade through it, you would be negative about $95. So now you're starting off from negative $95. Oh, wow. I mean, that's the end of the week. You've given it all back. Now the decision is, do you trade on Friday? Well, this past Friday, it didn't have a lot of news on Friday. So to me, that's usually an okay day to trade. Usually. We had German preliminary GDP, final CPI, we had M2 money supply, we had new loans in China, we had the G7 meetings now. I'm really not that sure how that affects us or not, but it's day one of the G7 meetings. Now in USA at 7:30 Central Time, we had core CPI month over month, we had retail sales, and then we had preliminary consumer sentiment at 9 o'clock. So we had a little bit of news, but not much. So do you trade the next day? Well, Fridays is not my favorite day. I'm not a big fan of Friday trading. We trade some days, and it's more of a judgment call. If you've struggled all week, or you struggled during the week, but you have profit, like right now, you have $965 of profit. Is it worth trading the next day? Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you should you write at $1,000. You know what happened. It didn't trade a day. It struggled. It told you another day not to trade. That's 2 days. So far for what it did trade, you're up nicely. So yes, if you look at it, I've got $1,000. Why risk it on Friday? That would be that's what I would like to. Oh, you know what? I didn't turn the thing on. I'm sorry. I didn't turn it back on. on the video. What happened on Friday? You see a lot of the same stuff. Let me stop it and I'll go back and explain what happened. It came down, it came up, it gave you a trade. It got in a trade. It took a short trade. It lost. And then it took a long trade. And it won. So, but you were still down a little bit negative on the day. So what ended up happening is if you traded this Friday, you were up for the week about $735 for the week. If you didn't trade on Friday, you kept your $965 that you made way back here at the beginning of the week. Well, that was this was Wednesday here, and then on Tuesday you can see it did not trade on Tuesday, and it traded on Monday. This is Monday here. Sunday night, and then Monday, it made 800 there. It made most of your money on Monday. Then it skipped Tuesday trading, and then this is the day it made 165, I believe. And that's how you got to 965. Thursday, it told us don't trade. Don't trade. Don't take a chance on this sell-off. If you are at your computer or you watch the news or pay attention to it, this is good information. If you want to trade automation, but you have the ability to watch it. And here's what I say to people. And if you have your system on and you busy doing other stuff, that's fine. That's fine. You pull up a team viewer, you get the ID for the team viewer and the password. You write it down, put it on your phone, and if you have to leave, you have a tablet or a laptop, when you get to where you're going, if you can't be sitting at your computer and you see the sell-off and you say, okay, if it goes down any further, I want to pause it, but I'm not there. Well, you need to be paying attention to this. You put the team viewer on your phone, you get to your office, and you pull it up on your phone. You can pause this from your phone. You can come on TeamViewer and you can do that. Hit the button, pause the system. It won't trade for the day. You say, oh yeah, okay, well now we're going to trade, but now we're down 35, 40 points. Pause it. That's what it's there for, because it's a big sell-off. You don't have to be, you don't have to know every little thing about the market, because even us, when we look at the news events that's planned on the schedule, we can see sometimes, but we can't call it all the time. We can't stop every day from losing by making judgment calls. But this is easy. This is easy, easy, easy. You see it selling off, and look, you don't want to get in to go. You don't want to get in to go long here and get reversed, because this is what you lose money real quick, and then it goes, and then it's like it never happened. It just goes. Well, you feel that when it happens, believe me. And you can avoid that by simply looking at the numbers. What's the Dow doing? You can do it from your phone, your smartphone, anywhere, or a tablet or whatever, or your computer at work. So if you can't be there, you should be able to still be in touch. This is how we do it. This is how we suggest you do it. If you're trading on a server, no problem. This works just fine. You just load TeamViewer on your server. And if you don't know how to do all of this, but you want to do some trading and you're interested in it, but you need help, if you're a newbie trader, then you need to talk to us. We charge like $500 to take a person who's never traded before, set them up with us, get them set up with a server, load all the stuff on the server for them, and get to a point where it's turnkey, where they just touch the button. And look, the guidelines that we would give you are very simple. You watch the market, and if you can't be at your computer because you're at your job, you can still be in touch with your smartphone. You take the team viewer, you put it on, you check it, and you make reasonable decisions with the equipment and the parameters and the tabs that we give you. This is easy to do. You see this thing goes from green to red. Now what that does is if you're in a trade, it doesn't get you out of the trade. If you hit a target, if you turn it off while you're in a trade and it hits a target, will it stop? The answer is yes, it won't trade anymore. If you are in a trade and it stops out and reverses, will it trade again? Yes, it will keep trading because the reverse is not a target. The reverse is a reverse, and this does not apply to a reverse. It applies to a target, or if you're paused or you're not in a trade and you turn it off, it won't trade. So if you're not in a trade and you turn it from on to off, it won't trade for the rest of the day. Or I was talking and you saw the market was running and ran the next day, and I didn't turn it on and it didn't trade. You see, it just didn't trade. Now, we took the trades on Friday and it had a loss and a win, but you were still a little negative. So in that event, if you would have traded, you still would have made money for the week. You would have made about $735 for the week instead of $965 if you would have ignored on Friday. Now, the big number you would have lost is if you would have traded all through Thursday. If you didn't turn it off, you lost $1,000, and then you lost 100 and something more on the next day. Almost a couple of hundred the next day if you traded Friday. So what happened if you just turned it on Sunday night and didn't look at it till Friday or pay attention to that sell-off? You lost $300 for the week. It was up $965 and you lost $300. So it's important, and I could go back and rerun this so you could see it for yourself. But if you are interested in watching this video again, let me know and I will make a little video of what would have happened running all the way through, or let you get on my computer and show it to you of how it happened in real time and what would have happened. But I can tell you this always stays the same. You lost $1,000 right here because you actually were down more than that, but then you had a win, so you got 400 back of what you were down. I think it was down 1380. That's a lot of money. Now, our stop limit, we have a $1,100 daily target, but we don't hit our $1,500 daily loss limit. We just don't hit it. We have it way out there, but we don't hit it. We like to let the system trade. And through all of the videos that you've seen in the last 6 weeks, you have not seen this, but this can happen. And so it's very important. This is one of the most important videos in the 6 weeks because the other ones were easy. This one, when you notice something like this, it can make a big difference. The market turns. We're at the bottom. You see we're at the bottom, but who knows that it's going to do this before it does this? No one. No one. No one knows. But you were down and then caught the win. Okay, but you were still down $1,000 at the end of the day. So, and if you stop there, okay, you were down like $90 or something like that. But then do you trade on Friday? Well, like I said, the news wasn't bad, but it came off of a hard day on Thursday. So do you not trade? It's hard to say. This day you had one loss and then one win. So And we got stop movement in the market. When it goes up, to protect you, we do as much as we can to protect profits. But the system still, it would have been our first losing week of minus $300 if you let this system run all week. So here we're showing we're up, but we have good reason to be up because we ignored that tough day on Thursday because we could see the sell-off. This is not a little sell-off here. This is a big, big sell-off in the market. And if you pay attention to what's going on, you get to understand that the market does have to retrace. A couple of weeks ago, we had tough times because the market, the Nasdaq, was going up so much and making new highs and not. However, the system untouched kept you out of getting into trades. But here, it just couldn't do it. It got in and got out and got in and then it went. So to avoid this down here, and so see, that was a tough 30-minute period, and then it goes on, and that's what happens. I mean, it couldn't go. It was just back and forth making a bottom. You can see this here. If you you can really see that you got double bottom down here, but it tried to go here, went up, couldn't go, all around between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, and then it finally went. So just good information to have another profitable week. It would have been worth doing. And after watching what you could have been in, yeah, it would have been great if you didn't trade the next day. But the next day, you lost a couple hundred, so you was up $735 or so. And so you still ended up with a positive week if you were able to avoid trading on Thursday. So thanks again for watching. This was a very important video for us. If you want to see what happened for Thursday, you can email me, and I'll set up a time where I can run this for you, or I can make a video and send it to you. But it would be interesting for you to see. And if you can remember a few of the rules that we stand by, then you can, this system will work for you. Now, this doesn't apply to if you start trading. Let's say you're down 25 points on the Nasdaq and you take your first trade, and then it keeps going down further and further. Well, you can't avoid that. You can't avoid that. I'm saying, if you're down 35 to 40 to 50 points before you take the first trade of the day, click the system off because it's got too much pressure on it. It could be down more than that. It's going to come back up, but this is how the market does it. It comes down, it sells off, it fakes everybody out, gets it going here, goes back and forth, and then it goes. So you could go through a rough period here and give back money that you don't need to. So very, very important. This is very important to automated trading specifically, because the machine's going to take the trades where it's supposed to. Okay, we thank you for watching, and if you'd like to see this the whole week run without touching, I can show it to you, or do another video for you, or allow you to come on my computer system and see what it did to coincide with the numbers that I just gave you. Okay, thank you for watching, and stay tuned. Next week we'll have another video for you. Have a nice day.